From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Tasker and Andy.
Hey, Ticat fans, welcome to Tasker and Andy, our weekly update with myself, Luke Tasker, joined with Andy Fantuz here. Andy, good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing great. Do you have your suit picked out for the big week here?
I'm kind of a last minute packer normally, so I did make sure my suits were clean. I'm going to pick them up today, but I haven't decided which one to wear. So not quite, but I got an idea. Yeah.
So we've talked about it throughout the season on Task and Twos, but this is the week. Andy, you're going out to Regina to be for the Plaza of Honour celebration, or where your name will be put in stone for all of time in Saskatchewan. That is awesome, man. Very, very excited for you. What do you know about what to expect for the week as of now?
Not much has changed yet. We still have the gala tomorrow night, which will be the actual induction ceremony. And so there'll be some video clips and a speech and, a room full of people. And then we're going to do a small breakfast on the Saturday, and then the game will be Saturday afternoon, where we'll kind of walk out at halftime. So I'm excited for the whole thing. It's going to be great to go out there and just hopefully, it's safe and all that stuff, all that outside nonsense.
Yeah.
Hopefully
the travels are safe, but man, that is such an exciting thing, man. What a cool deal. I'll tune into the SAS game. Hopefully they show some coverage on it through the halftime.
Yeah, cool. How was your trip home? How was your flight home?
We survived. Wasn't easy. 6.5 hours from Anchorage to Chicago. So that we took the red eye this time. So my kids slept pretty well on the red eye back home. It was a little bit better than the flight to Anchorage, which almost got the best of me. I almost died on the way there. So. But it'll be a long time before I take my kids on a flight like that again. Like they're not ready for it, man. 1.5 years old is not ideal for a 6.5 hour plane flight.
It's almost better. It's almost better to have them like from 2 to 7 months when they don't move yet, right?
100%.
Instead of between like 7 months and 3 years old or something like that.
Yeah. A baby. My brother has like an infant. She's 3 months old. She was the easiest one of all 7 kids for sure. But everybody else had their moments throughout the flight, including me, because I'm like about to you just put your hands up sometimes. Like there's nothing I can do. But people were fairly. The people sitting around the kids were fairly.
Patient.
Yeah, patient, or just understanding, empathetic towards our situation. So that was okay, and we're glad to be back. But it was a trip of a lifetime, man. Alaska was unbelievable. We not only because it's my sister's wedding, of course, but we did so many cool things up there. And but I am glad to be back. Excited to get back in the booth on Monday and. Get up there to watch the Ticats start to shape things up for the second half of the year. 4-4, more than halfway through the season. What's your take on where they stand right now? I mean, I feel like we haven't seen a truly competent or truly filled out offensive performance from the Ticats yet.
No, sir, certainly not. It was a little disappointing on Saturday. I thought that Mazzoli looked like his demeanor was proper, and he was looking downfield and going through his reads, but he just couldn't keep stringing first downs together, and they couldn't convert any second downs. So they got to get something to click and start having some more fun out there and like playing for each other, because you can't just keep relying on the defense and the special teams like that. It's got to be that complementary football, right?
I agree. The games that they have won this year, I specifically think about Labor Day and the game in Montreal. that was complimentary football, including production on the offensive side of the ball, and it was really clear to watch. The Ticats were in control of those games. Uh, it's so interesting to me because for our years in Hamilton together, it seemed to me like if we had times in the season where we were sputtering on offense like that, we wouldn't be sitting at 4-4. There were times where it felt like we were playing good and we were 1-5. As the season went on, which is kind of promising. I mean, and I've said this in the Task and Two shows in the weeks past leading up here, but just a little bit of cohesiveness as the season goes on, and we might turn into the Ticats record might be very promising as we go into the second half of the season. Seemed to me like for so many years of the Ticats, it had to be perfect football in order to win a game, and they are putting some wins in the record with imperfect football. It goes obviously to what the opponents are doing as well. The East is just it's unbelievable. Ottawa has a chance to have as many wins as the Ticats if they win 2 games in the next 6 days, which they have the chance to. And that's fascinating as well. I mean, like everything is still up for grabs as we progress in the second half of the season, which is kind of true to CFL form. Every year it seems like things are settling late, but still nothing's decided yet.
Yeah, you gotta like where the Cats are sitting, like in the standings for sure, because they're sort of still control their destiny. They got 2 games with Toronto coming up, and that'll really tell the tide. So there's really no excuses if they fall behind after these games. So they're in a good position. But if you do want to fast forward and you think about going against, like Winnipeg, for instance, again, and you're going to need some offensive production because the defense will be equally as good and or on the same level at least, and in the same ballpark, and then their offense is playing a heck of a lot better than the Cats' offense, and the special teams is similar also. So you're going to need to step it up a bit. But I mean, with last game though, it did still feel like the Cats were in control. Like to me, even though their offense wasn't doing anything, but you got to give Montreal some credit because there were so many points in that game where you thought, oh, okay, now it's over. Oh, now it's over. And they just kept making those plays. So if you and I were on that other side, like that would have been a really fun game to be a part. Well, a really fun fourth quarter and overtime to be a part of because they kept converting on 2nd and long, 3rd down, and then 3rd and 20 on the touchdown. Like that's just unreal. Right. Like we would have been going nuts. So you got to give them some credit. Like sometimes you just those are some great plays that they made.
They were. The touchdown was fantastic, and the play before that touchdown was a huge sack. And like you said, you thought, oh, okay, good. Where it's done. Now it's done. But yeah, I mean, yeah, good for them. You're so right. You flip the side. I would what a fun locker room that is to be a part of, and good for those guys.
You'll appreciate this. Yeah. So the Ticats, like their graphics guys are trying to get me who's the player of the game, and it's like, man, Montreal's coming down to try to take the lead. How can I choose? Yeah. And they're kind of pressuring me so they can put a graphic together. And then right when that sack happened, I said, okay, Delicae. He's the player of the game. And then, of course, Bertolette comes back and hits a 55-yarder into that crazy wind to go to have 4 field goals. And I just feel like, oh, I would be pissed if I was him because I for sure would have chosen if I knew that happened. And they ended up changing the graphic anyway and putting him as a performer of the game. So I was like, oh, man. I was like, I know for next time I can switch it if I need to, right?
Yeah, don't say it till the end.
Gotta give those special teamers some love sometimes.
Oh, I loved that, man. Because as I was watching it, they had the camera right on him as he's setting up for his kick, and he had a look on his face. I was so pumped because I can think back to making those holds at those crucial field goals and that time where if you're on the same page, if you're really feeling it with your operation snap hold kick, That's an awesome moment, and he looked ready for that, and he freaking blasted it. That was an unbelievable kick, man.
He blasted it. Like
Yeah,
the Montreal kicker, he had a 43-yarder the same direction that fell on like the 4-yard line or something like that.
yeah.
So
Now, Coach O was saying he thinks the wind had died down, and I wasn't there, but had the wind, I
yeah,
guess, it had decreased, I guess, at that time in the game.
a little bit, yeah, but still,
Yeah.
55 yards is 55 yards no
Oh,
matter what. It
100%.
definitely was not with the wind. So
Yeah. It was awesome on TV because it goes and actually hits the post in the field, but went through over the crossbar like so awesome, man. Good for them. That was great. I was sure he was going to get a chance to kick another overtime field goal. That would have been ideal. I remember a game where against BC in 2013 at home, I'm talking literally dropped a touchdown pass, like a corner route, I dropped it. No touchdowns in the game, just 5 field goals, and we beat BC that way. So that I remember. There's crazy stuff, man. Crazy things happen out there. That's cool. But yeah, he probably did deserve the player of the game for that field goal, and that's a heartbreaker, meant for the team to have a great play like that. Like an all-time field goal of the Ticats, and then to miss it in overtime. But yeah, this is what I'm picturing on the Ticats offense right now. Don't you remember those times where the play that sparks a drive where they start stringing first downs together is just those option routes, cluster options. Remember in I think it was 2015 or something, where you and myself would just leave the huddle and say, okay, you run the option now. And then we would switch and say, okay, I'll go in the front of the cluster. You run the option now. Until Zach Claros told us, hey, you guys you're confusing me. So you gotta, like, whoever's in the huddle gonna run the option. I need you to run the option. But we were just out there freewheeling, man. Like it seems like the quick, easy passes, the ones where the quarterback and that receiver have a lot of trust in the trust jar. That's what used to do it to us. Just the almost the gimmies, where you can option and take what's there.
yeah, I think they'll start getting Addison a little more involved in that type of scheme, because he seemed like, watching him, he seemed like he didn't miss a beat. Like, I'm sure physically he wasn't quite 100%, but he was feeling those zones and settling into the right areas. And like, to me, it was like, find that guy, keep feeding him the ball. He was one guy that stood out for me that had an excellent game as a receiver. So I think he's a smart player and can see the field like that, and would be a good guy to lean on a little bit and help string some first downs.
He is a guy who can run the option route 100%. He has a great feel for he has the CFL slot receiver feel. He can wrap the will. He is very, very savvy with that stuff. And it is great to see him back out there. Like, I mean, he's an asset, and he is. Mike Morale said it in the game, and I totally agree with his call on this. He is just that kind of receiver that his presence and the way he is on the field does make the other receivers around him better. Some of that's just production. When you start to make completions down the field, other guys start to be able to improve their performance as well. But really excited to see him get back in the mix a little bit. All the offensive struggles that there's been, man, 4-4 with a defense that's playing very well is still great. And not that the fourth quarter was a hard quarter for the Ticats defense, no doubt. They're going to have those, but really, really been impressed all year with the defensive performance.
Yeah, I agree completely. Going against Toronto coming up, like, from in the past, they've shown, or at least against us, a lot of zone. So option routes might not be the ideal play, but there is definitely a chance to start lighting it up, I guess, with the seam routes and just outnumbering people in the different areas of the different levels of coverage. And Mazzoli's good at throwing those seam balls. So this will be a good chance, I think, for him to, and guys like Speedy and Ackland, to get back involved and to run up those seams and get open and outnumber the safeties.
You going to be back in town for our Monday game, or will you be still out in Sask?
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah. We already.
Nice.
Louis and I will be out in the outdoors, rain or shine, and pumped for that. I don't even care if it rains. I think it'll be super fun. So,
That's
awesome.
awesome.
This is the first, I think this is the first Monday Labor Day game that Ticats have hosted in a long time. I don't know how many years.
Day,
Sorry,
yeah.
Thanksgiving Day. Yes, yeah.
And strange. I mean, it just feels like just a few weeks ago, which it was obviously the Monday Labor Day Ticats or Ticats versus Toronto. Like it's the same. It's weird. We're playing Toronto twice on Mondays at home. It's a interesting season schedule. There's a lot of little strange things in this year's schedule. I mean, we're going on another long week. Like there's nothing but short weeks and long weeks. This year it seems like for the team. Very excited to get everybody back in Tim Hortons Field, Hamilton's finest out there, and to watch the Ticats try to shape things up in the East, and then Ottawa and Montreal have their matchup. It's going to be, things are going to start solidifying, and after this week, we'll have 5 games left in the season. Unbelievable, man! Like we're closing in on it.
Yeah. It's going to be a good stretch, but definitely control your destiny. And, but again, we got to, winning games is the most important, but you got to get some progress and get ready for those playoffs. Right. And
yep.
I don't think that product that won the last 2 games is going to beat those juggernauts.
Yeah.
But we'll see. One game at a time.
Who does Sask play this weekend when you're out there?
Calgary.
Nice.
That'll be a good one. Yeah. That's I had some crazy games that actually both ways. Calgary was always a team. I mean, you think Sask and Winnipeg is the biggest rivalry because of Labor Day and the Banjo Bowl, but in my days, Calgary was always the closest games and the most exciting, the most amount of overtime. I think I did 3 ties in my 6 years against Calgary. Overtimes, like some of my biggest games, but also just like offensive shootouts, onside kicks, all kinds of stuff. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a good one. And either way, the stadium will be rocking, and it'll be exciting to see because I haven't actually been to Mosaic yet, the new one.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, nice stadium. I really enjoyed playing there, though I never got the win out there. But the good for you, man. Excited to hear more about that. We'll talk about it next week, and I'll be sure to check it out on Saturday for the game to see you get honored at halftime again. Ticat fans, we are going to catch up with Andy next week. He's going on the Plaza of Honour in Saskatchewan this week, and then the Ticats will be hosting the Argonauts on Monday for the Thanksgiving Day game. Be sure to check that out, and you can listen to our broadcast on the Ticats Audio Network. Andy, good talking with you, man. I'll talk to you next week. Good luck out in Sask.
Thanks, Task.
Task and Twos. Like and subscribe to hang with them weekly.